Now, next person, and you know, we try to induct the ones that deserve it, and believe me, they're way overdue. I see them all over. The first time I met this person down in Florida, he's peddling something. But in the peddling something, it was the leveling. I liked it. But I saw it go down. But it wasn't that impressed me. It's how he'd take his time. And if you wanted to know something or ask, and I know it's out there today, when you asked him a question, he's going to come back with an answer for you. He's going to try to help you. You need to learn this? Well, come over here. And he keeps encouraging people to ask, because I think the pleasure of teaching or giving, it sort of makes you feel good later. I had a hand in that. I helped that guy. Boy, it tickles me. And a couple of those guys that you had helped came to school here. And I was talking to him earlier. There's two of them. One of them's helping the other, and they're doing real good. And that tickled me. They worked hard. They deserve it. But the person I think is way overdue, like Ronnie, is sitting right over here, T.J. Jones. Let's give him a round of applause. T.J., you're way overdue. And welcome to the Brotherhood of Working Farriers Association Hall of Fame. I'm getting worse than Glenn Beck. There we go.
We're getting to be two old women. That's our problem.
I know.
We've been here too long. You know, it's an honor to be inducted with the men that came before me. And this is totally a surprise, and I thank you.
You're welcome. You guys come over, shake hands, give them a round of applause. All right, maybe someday your name will come up. Because the way you get there is a lot of hard work. No. Great horseshoer? No. It's what you do for the industry. You don't have to be a great farrier, but you got to have a great heart. And here's what you see. Thank you.
Thank you, Ralph.
We were going to ride today. Is that farrier ever going to show up?
Is he BWFA certified?
Well, he said he was. I guess we ought to check his certification.
If he's BWFA, he'll show up.
Hey, you're not my farrier.
No, ma'am. The farrier asked me to show up. He's sick in his place, and I hope that's okay.
I told you that BWFA farrier would get here somehow.
Well, I hope you brought your certification card.
Yes, ma'am, I did. I do the continuing education, too.
Always use a BWFA certified farrier.
For those of you who love horses and want to work outdoors and be your own boss, you may want to consider a career as a certified farrier. It's hard work, but very rewarding. One of the most highly recognized schools in the United States is right here in Villanelle, Georgia, owned and operated by Ralph Casey since 1989. The Casey & Son Horseshoeing School has received the Horseshoeing School of the Year award for over 8 years. With Casey as your head instructor, you will receive the most up-to-date training in farrier science that is not available at any other school.
We try to make it as simple as possible in the teaching process, and really we try to teach, there's just 6 basic steps we teach here to shoe a sound horse, and that's really what we go over for the whole course in 6 and 12 weeks.
I mean, you can't beat it. I mean, you learn more, the stress ain't there. They let you go at your own pace, and if you need extra attention, they give it to you.
Looked up a couple of schools in this area, and this was the best one, because I think doing everything practical helps you do more than sitting in the class just looking at books the whole time.
Everyone's nice, made you feel right at home even when you came to visit, as well as your first day here and on. and really enjoyed my time here so far. Well, I first started looking for a school. I was looking on the internet. It's where I found the school, and from my opinion, it's the best one in the country, so that's why I came here.
I'm going to start off with Robert Lee. Robert Lee was a young man, and I get real emotional on that one, so you're going to have to help me out. But he came down here. I did a clinic for him, God, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I can't remember. But the point was, he wanted to quit shooting and start teaching and helping young people in that, what do you call that, where they send those, what, Vision Quest. So he needed a teaching certificate, and we're the only place that can give a teaching certificate. And so a lot of the guys come down and have to work under me for a while. I have to do it personally and take them out there. We're super nice person, remarkable person. He really was, and I'm not just blowing smoke. But Kathy, when we had the graduation party at your home, tell us what you saw in this man. Whoop, 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 we got to pass the mic now.
The one thing I remember about him was his big smile and his attitude. He came in and was very positive about everything and just joy to be around. And just, he lifted you up to be around him.
Found out a few things. This right here is a tragedy. But anyway, he left here just all smiles, and he took off and went back about 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later. He went out with a group of those boys, those wayward kids, and they went out in like a Greyhound bus. Laid his camp out right at the door with the bus driver. They had to have a professional bus driver, sort of like a Greyhound bus. This guy comes in the next morning, cranks the bus up, and runs over him. Isn't that a tragedy? So, but the point is, I wanted to remember him because he was a special person and a great horseshoer. He wasn't well known, and a lot of guys we can remember not well known.
No.
Some of the guys in the Hall of Fame, and people ask me, well, how do you get in there? Most of the people gets in the Hall of Fame is the people, what they do for the industry that ain't so selfish. In other words, it ain't how great a horseshoer you are, it's what you do for the farrier industry. Now, saying that, I got emotional on that because the way he was so young. T.J. White, now there was a real knothead. T.J. was taught for Elmer Sebo, and I know Ronnie remembers him. Do you remember him, Ronnie? Where you at?
Yeah, a little bit.
Say if
I'm a little too big. I'm covering them up.
we're talking about a lot of people here from years ago.
He was very strict on his teaching part, but he always had a smile and laughed and wanted to cut up and play with you, but he meant serious business, especially when Elmer was around. When Elmer come around, he sort of changed, and when Elmer left, he went back to his cutting up ways. But he was serious, and he was a good teacher. He taught me on it through school out there, but he's a real good fella.
So let me tell you a little tale. See, we get into the comical part here. We done got into the sad part. So I'll tell you a tale about TJ and Elmer came out here, and Elmer was making a shoe he'd give out and made a half a shoe. Now, I've been offered $5,000 for that shoe. Never finished it because they give out. He had the oldest Horseshoe'n school in the United States. Now, TJ, he said, I need to tell you a story. And he told a story about a child that went to school, a young boy there in Mineral Wells, Texas. And so the TJ and the other instructor told him, because they were shoeing for $35, and said, I'm going to tell you something. You go out there, he lived in Mineral Wells, you go out there and start charging more than we do, we're going to give you a good thrashing. Kid that scared him to death, so he went out and started charging $65. They was charging $35. He said, Ralph, guess who the best horse here in Middlewell, Texas is? I thought that was a good story. Kind of wakes you up. Even though them boys are teaching and they're good farriers, good shoers, but they had that mental thing. Now we're getting into the business part. We're going to move along in the comical parts. We're moving along here.